Well, first of all, I'm down 35 pounds in 64 days, so that's been amazing. But the weight is why everyone gets into a diet, and the weight is just a small percentage. It's like an iceberg. You see a little bit of the iceberg exposed out of the top of the water, but there's a ton more underneath the water. There's so much more with the carnivore diet than just the weight loss. I've talked about this on my channel before. For me personally, it got rid of so many things. IBS was a big one. I was walking around, my stomach was always bloated and I was always bubbling and gurgling. I just felt horrible all of the time. The other big one was sleep. It's completely fixed my sleep. I sleep like a baby now. I've said it before. The sleep I get is worth the price of admission alone. Arthritis. I had horrible arthritis in my elbows and my lower back. It was just constantly painful. Sciatica nerve pain. And then my foot issue. My foot had so much arthritis in it. For 18 months, I was gonna have to have surgery. I saw 4 different doctors. I tried all the pills and injections and everything. They were gonna do a major surgery on my toe. And after 64 days, that pain is almost completely gone. I was showing Jen the other day, I was bending my toe like this. I would have been crying before it hurt so bad. It was like walking around on a fractured foot, and it's completely gone. After 18 months of trying everything and seeing the best podiatrists and foot doctors, they did nothing for me. Carnivore diet, it's completely gone. It's just, it's hard to believe. I had clinical depression. I was on every SSRI and antidepressant you could imagine, and those things are horrible. They turned me into a zombie. If they help you, I'm happy for you, and I'm glad they're working for other people. For me, they didn't work. And they were horrible too, because you're at your lowest low, the darkest point of your life, and you go to a doctor and they're like, well, we could try this medicine. It might not work. We don't know. Oh, it's going to take 3 months before you know if it's going to work or not. I would take it for 3 months, nothing would happen, and then they would either up the dosage and say, give it another 3 months, and meanwhile I'm in the darkest place in my life. It's undescribable. Unless you've had horrible depression, you don't know what that's like. I know there's people having that horrible depression going around with it, and I'm not saying carnivore is going to fix everything for you, but it has for me, and I tried everything else, and I just wish that someone told me about this years ago. It's one of the things I hate so much about being a human. It's the human brain. Things become normal that shouldn't be normal. For example, it's normal now that every single person in the world, I go out to a football stadium with 70,000 people in there, almost every single one of those 70,000 people are addicted to sugar and processed food, and that's normal. We give our kids little juice boxes and they've got this much sugar in it. That sugar is more addictive than cocaine. It's like a drug, and that's normal, but it really shouldn't be normal. And I'm the weird one. Shame on you if you're not living a life to your fullest potential.
I feel a calling. I feel a responsibility, like you said, Kerry.
Yes.
I feel like there's a weight on my heart.
God never intended humans to eat all sorts of inflammatory foods and basically mild poisons, because people are getting shamed when they talk about carnivore, and they're told they're crazy and they're told their arteries are going to get clogged. We need to get this message out to as many people as we can.
I'm just saying, eat this real food and stop eating this fake food.
People are going to be mad. They're going to be like, you got to be nice. You can't do that. But I don't care anymore. Shame on you. Shame on you. Here's what I'm getting at. I've been doing carnivore for 160 days. I've lost 100 pounds since my heaviest. I've gotten rid of so many issues. I have nothing wrong with me. Nothing. I feel amazing. I feel absolutely amazing. I got rid of IBS. I got rid of arthritis in my foot, elbows, back. I have no pain. I have zero anxiety. I overcame clinical depression. I was on every SSRI for years and years. My brain, my mood, my body, my health, my fitness, perfect. I've transformed my whole life this way. Yet, I still get shamed. And I don't really care. So don't feel sorry for me like, oh, he's a victim, but I gotta even things out. I can't let it pass. Processed foods and seed oils, and oh, it's okay if I have sugar. I'm just going to do it in moderation. Meanwhile, they're eating that sugar. It's causing inflammation. It's damaging their blood vessels, and they just keep doing it and say, oh, it's okay if I do it in moderation. Well, I'll tell you what, if you fed all that food that you eat to a cow, the cow would get sick like humans do, and the cow would get anxiety, and the cow would get depression, and the cow would have trouble sleeping at night, and it would have IBS, it would have stomach issues, and it would look like garbage. It'd be barely walking around, all arthritic, just like you see all the humans doing. And if you're not eating a proper human diet, whether that's carnivore or keto or eliminating all of the processed garbage, shame on you. Shame on you. I have no shame. I'm proud of the way I eat. I don't think there's a more compassionate way of eating than the one I do. Well, shame on you if you're not eating the proper human diet and you don't know what it's like to live like I do, to my full potential. You are probably living in brain fog and you've got anxiety and you've got stomach issues, and you're shaming me because subconsciously you know you're doing something wrong. Shame on you if you're gonna live your whole life and you're too weak and you're too fearful to step up and get rid of that crap. What do some of these people say when I say, oh, I couldn't give up my sugar. Oh, I couldn't give up my Diet Coke. Oh, I couldn't give up my fruit. Fruit, by the way, you think you're so noble for eating your fruit. Fruit has literally been engineered so many times, it's candy. Fruit is candy. You look at an orange now compared to an orange 100 years ago, and you are literally eating a piece of candy that spikes your blood sugar. Oh, I couldn't give this up, I couldn't give that away. Shame on you if you can't eat the proper human diet that your body's intended to eat and feel the way I feel. Men are walking around with man boobs. Oh, you're shaming people? No, I had the man boobs. Look. See? No more man boobs. They're turning into man muscles. Men should not have boobs. Go back to the animals in the wild. What if you saw a wild deer with some big man boobs hanging down? You'd say, what the heck is wrong with that animal? It's sick. Something's wrong with it. We see it in humans all the time, and it's normal. When you're in that brain fog, you're just in this haze, and you can't see things clearly, and time goes by so quickly, and you're not present, and you're not living in the moment. Eating the proper human diet, I am a natural human the way God intended humans to be. God never intended humans to eat all sorts of inflammatory foods and basically mild poisons. Mild poisons. Sugar is an addictive drug. It causes inflammation in your brain. It causes brain fog. It causes all sorts of stomach issues. Seed oils are possibly worse. People are eating all of this stuff, and that's not the natural human diet, and you're not living in a natural human state. And what's really a shame is what's happening to our children. This next generation of children are never going to know what it's like to be a normal human, addicted to sugar from as young as they can remember. And then they grow up and then they're teenagers and they've got ADHD and they've got depression and they got to go on antidepressant medicines and all this stuff. Day 150, I felt even better. I have a permanent smile on my face. Before this, I had permanent tension in my jaw and I was gritting my teeth and I'd grind my teeth at night. Is that normal? I had sleep apnea before this. I'd wake up hundreds of times throughout the night. Is that normal? No. You people who are not living a proper human, natural life, with a proper human diet, without all that inflammation and brain fog and anxiety and stomach issues, shame on you. You are missing out. And if you can't wrap your brain around, oh, how can you eat only meat for 30 days? It's what humans did from the start of time. It's irrefutable. Look it up and do your own research. What do you think humans used to do, just say 1,000 years ago right here in Wisconsin? Where, by the way, it's winter for a good part of the year. You think they were eating fruits and vegetables in the wintertime? They would hunt, they would kill a big animal, they'd eat a bunch of meat, they might fast for 4 or 5 days, and then they eat another big bunch of meat. And then maybe in the summertime, maybe for like 2 or 3 weeks, they'd find some wild berries and they would eat those. They ate almost entirely meat. It's no big mystery that I and so many other carnivores out there, thousands of them, many in the closet because they're being shamed by people, are thriving on carnivore. It's a natural, species-intended diet. Just like a cow eats grass and a koala bear eats eucalyptus, every species has their own intended diet, and humans, and sadly our pets, are the only animals that eat out of their species' intended diets, and humans, and sadly their pets, are the only ones dying younger, suffering, and having all these issues and ailments, and it's getting worse and worse. You walk around, you look at the grocery store right now, and everybody has something wrong with them. And it's just slowly happened, and it's normal to you guys, because you're still in the brain fog. I've pulled myself out of the matrix. I have no brain fog. I can see clearly than anybody watching this. It's insane what's going on out there right now. And if you're going to go your whole life and you're going to be too big of a coward to try to eat the proper human diet your species was intended to eat, you're wasting your life away. And shame on you when there's people out there dying of cancer, or today could be their last day, and you're squandering your life not knowing what it's like to actually live. Shame on you. I get fired up, but so people that can't wrap their brain around the meat thing either, I'm not telling you eat only meat. Do this. Just do this. Try a simple elimination diet. Stop with the sugar. Stop with the diet sugar-free soda that you can't pronounce the ingredient. If you're looking at the thing and there's an ingredient on there and you don't know what it is, you think it's smart to put that in your body? It's insane. It's absolute insanity. Do an elimination diet. Just say, I'm going to try for 1 week and I'm going to eliminate all of these crazy ingredients that humans were never intended to eat, and I'm going to see how I feel.
I went carnivore, I lost weight, my arthritis has disappeared, my gum disease and bad breath have both disappeared, my post-stroke symptoms like limping have improved, my eczema improved, my sleep improved, my mood and focus improved. And the list goes on. First, I do need to say that alcohol, sugar, and processed food are toxic. Of course, giving these things up will be beneficial to your body. But I always give 100% credit to the carnivore diet, and I think that sometimes confuses people. And there's a reason I credit carnivore. And it's because carnivore facilitates the giving up of everything else. The fact that the carnivore diet keeps my mood stable throughout the day and keeps me satiated throughout the day means I'm not feeling like I need to binge on sugar or processed foods or alcohol. Try giving up alcohol, sugar, and processed food when you're on a low-calorie diet. So did giving up alcohol or sugar affect the improvements with my limp? I think likely somewhat, but not enough to be measurable. I've given up alcohol in the past and I've not had these results. I've been on keto before and I've never had these results. I've been keto and alcohol free at the same time and never had these results. Additionally, for 2 years following the surgery to correct the problem that caused the stroke, I was unable to drink alcohol. And this is the time that if you're going to see improvements from a stroke, you are going to see them then. And other than what I achieved in the first few weeks, I saw no appreciable change over that 2 years with my limp. And it's just something I've been stuck with ever since until I discovered carnivore. As for the arthritis, I can't really tell because this is a problem that happened only recently, in the last year or so. As for gum disease, like I mentioned, I've been keto and alcohol free at the same time before, and that didn't improve my gum disease. Interestingly, being on carnivore is the only time in my life that I've felt like I don't need to brush my teeth all the time. So is giving up alcohol good for your health? Of course. Is giving up sugar and processed food going to be good for you? No question. Does the carnivore diet significantly improve health? At least in my experience? Yes. I have never experienced good health the way I have in the last 8 months. And the last 8 months have improved things I never imagined possible. I thought I was stuck with arthritis, gum disease, eczema, and a limp forever. And it's not hard to believe that the carnivore diet can be so effective. Because red meat is so nutritious. And more, I feel it's the way we should all be eating.
If it's true that you are what you eat, and in the last month alone, I've put on over 15 pounds of new body weight. For you metric lovers, that's a little over 7 kilos. Then that means over 10% of my current body mass right now must be comprised entirely of beef and butter.
Hi, my name is Michael Anthony, and I've been a carnivore since late 2017. Back then, I was over 70 pounds heavier. I was pre-diabetic for years. I had clinical depression for 20 years. I also had years of hypothyroidism. I was taking antidepressants, synthetic thyroid hormone, lots of over-the-counter pain medications. I also had seasonal allergies starting in my late 20s. And I would get sick every time the weather changed. I had brain fog, bad breath, athlete's foot. And when I got hot, I used to sweat so much I was embarrassed. Even during the winter. And all of those disappeared within days, weeks, and months of going carnivore. The fat just melted off my body. In 7 months, I lost 70 pounds of excess fat and the knee pain and the pre-diabetes. I lost all of those problems eating fatty red meat. The medical system has failed us. They push pharmaceuticals to cover up symptoms of diseases that would be cured by lifestyle. Cutting out all sugar, all bread, pasta, rice, even sweet fruit. I also stopped eating heavily processed foods. Believe it or not, I even stopped eating vegetables. But more importantly, I stopped eating vegetable oils. Vegetable oils may cause diabetes as much as sugar, if not more. And vegetables, I've never really been that into vegetables, and you really don't need to eat them. Instead, all I eat are animal products, mostly fatty red meat, along with pork, poultry, seafood, and raw dairy. So don't let them force you to eat processed food made out of bugs, lab-grown meat from a petri dish, or even plant-based, heavily processed fake meat. To get healthy and stay healthy, all you really have to do is eat lots of fatty red meat. That's what I did. It saved my dad too. He was type 2 diabetic and in his 60s was able to get off of all of his medications. My mom was not as lucky. In 2020, heart disease took her in her sleep. Mostly because she was a self-confessed sugar addict. Most people run on sugar instead of running on fat. But when you're keto, or more specifically carnivore like me, you're running on fat instead of sugar, and that's why you burn the fat off of your body and anything that you eat. You can be healthier. There are no more excuses, and I believe in you.
I was already trying different diets and stuff, like all this stuff, but it was just harder to count calories in any other diets. The feeling I get now that I eat a carnivore diet is predominantly great. Like, I have consistent energy. I don't take as many naps. I don't have spikes in my energy, glucose or whatever. I don't have spikes anymore because I have no carbs. I don't ingest sugars, period. Just drink water, eat meat. I can't complain. I get up early and I don't feel groggy. I have very little need for coffee now because my energy is just consistent from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. The thing I've learned about traditional, well, I don't know if I could call it traditional, modern food, is that you really don't need all the stuff that you get, in these grocery stores. I look at food just like it's a killer for people if you don't eat it right and manage it right. So yeah, for me it was worth it because it just taught me self-discipline, man. I don't look at food the same. As far as food goes, I don't look at food the same. So when I eat, I'm fine. And I don't have the urge to eat a lot. So it was pretty worth it for me. I think it has changed my life forever and, how I treat my body. And just, that along with really getting into the gym, just those two combined is just pretty dope for me.
I was diagnosed back in 2012 with ulcerative colitis. And in 2017, I found myself in a position where I needed emergency surgery and I lost my whole colon. So that means I have to wear an ostomy bag. And that in turn led to a downward spiral with my mental health. And I kind of just yo-yoed up and down with depression. A lot of people would have thought I was doing pretty well. I think from the outside looking in, I probably just came across as a normal, happy guy. Especially because I had so many different hobbies and passions, and I've gone through so many phases and things in life. I seem to pour myself into something and obsess, and I'd be inspired by seeing someone do something, music, art, dance, whatever it might be. And as I'm sure a lot of you know, what did eventually make me happy, what I'm truly passionate about more than anything in my life now, more than the piano, more than a portrait that I could paint. My biggest passion in life now is food. Carnivore diet, the way it makes me feel, the fact that I genuinely believe that there's so many people out there that can be helped and saved, and they can have a real life. They can get a life back. They can reverse sickness and illness and disease and thrive. And that to me it woke me up. Like, we need to eat to live, but I owe my life to food, and that food being just meat and the carnivore diet.
So good.
And I'm not just saying that, like, I don't know where I'd be right now. I genuinely don't know where I'd be if I hadn't found the carnivore diet, and I feel very, very lucky to have found it in the right place at the right time. And I believe that the carnivore diet has helped me to do that. It's given me mental strength. I have a larger capacity to do that, more tools in my box. And I would just say to anyone that's potentially come across this video, they're like, I'm suffering, I have anxiety, I'm agoraphobic, depressed, suicidal. It doesn't matter. You know, maybe you don't have enough self-belief. I would definitely suggest giving it a go. Have a look at the BBBE challenge and see where you find yourself in a month's time, because all of these passions and hobbies I've had through my life, I still have them, but for the first time in my life, they can make me happy because I've built my foundation from the ground up. I'm a stable person, I'm more robust, and too many people, they're all over the place. They've poured value in the wrong places, and that can be devastating to yourself and then to other people. You know, just like I say, that self-preservation, having self-worth and taking care of yourself, maintaining yourself, that is the best thing that anyone can do with their lives. It's not selfish. It's the most important thing you can do. It's precious. We're all precious, and if you can't take care of you, who else is? Then you become a burden. Then people are worried, people don't respect you, people don't look up to you, they're not inspired. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that we need to realise that to take care of ourselves and to find that worth in ourselves, to keep going and to get busy living, it's probably the best thing that you can do for the people you love as well.
I'm gonna get right into it, talk to y'all about what life was like before my carnivore journey, what I did each day, and what I'm capable of now. I was right at 500 pounds, okay? Right now it's 93 degrees outside, and I'm out here taking y'all on a little jog with me. You know, I'm not challenging myself too hard like I did the other day, but I am jogging a little bit. There goes the light pole. I started out I could do one light pole, then I worked myself up, and I was like, man, I could do 2 light poles. Now I can do 3. It's crazy, but my life before, yes, my family loved me. I had that support, but man, at almost 500 pounds, I couldn't do hardly anything. I was stuck on the couch, guys. I was stuck on the couch. I couldn't hardly do anything. And right now I'm just out here finding out what living's all about. I'm just out here being outside where before I couldn't. And it amazes me every day that I get to do this in the future, because the way I changed the way that I eat has changed everything, y'all. Before I started the carnivore diet, y'all, I was a diabetic. I was type 2 diabetic, had severe shoulder pain. I had to take acid reflux stuff for just about every time I ate. Well, not every time I ate, but like half the time I'd have to take Tums. And just living in misery, y'all. My life was miserable, you know, because what I ate every day. I thought that ice cream was worth it. I've since found out it's not. Because when you fuel your body right, it changes everything. When I was eating ice cream, you think I would look at a light pole and say, let's take a little jog? I would not do this. That is a promise to you. I've lost 100 pounds. I actually weighed this morning and I'm actually down 104 pounds. So I've lost 4 more pounds since that video the other day. Like 4 or 5, 6 days ago, I lost 4 more pounds. So hey, Sean, if you're watching, Intentional Carnivore, I'm gonna catch up with you, Bubba. It might take me a while, because it ain't no race. But if you ask Sean, he just wants me to be healthy. And I want all y'all to be healthy. I want a light pole, just relax a little bit. Sun's out, I should be wearing a hat. I know I'm supposed to be breathing through my nose and out through my mouth, but y'all try holding this camera and talking at the same time at 380, what was it today? Maybe 382. At 382 pounds, you try doing that and see if you're doing everything perfect. I'm doing what I can because I promise I couldn't do this 8 months ago. So what was my life like? Telling y'all, it was like living in hell inside my body. I'm still a big guy, okay? I'll back up. You can see on the side shot, I'm still a big guy, okay? But I'm 104 pounds down because I started the carnivore diet. And I ask people all the time, what are you scared of? Why are you scared to give this a try? This right here has changed my life, and it can do the same for you guys.
I did a meat-only diet for the past 253 days, and this is where I started at. I started off at 32 years old, 360 pounds, having to use a rollator walker just to get around because I had such severe back pain. I had 16 different comorbidities, including type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, the list kind of went on and on. Here's a quick peek of kind of where I started when I started my YouTube channel. I have, from about the age of 12, done every kind of diet you could ever imagine. High carb, low carb, high fat, low fat, whole foods, you name it, I've done it. When I say a meat-only diet, what I really mean is any type of meat. Beef, fish, chicken, eggs. I personally chose to add dairy, so just heavy cream and hard cheeses. This does not include any vegetables or any kinds of fruit, but the reason I started it is I've done things all the way from organic veganism to the Whole30 to eating white boiled potatoes. None of those diets made me address the fact that I'm a sugar and carb addict. We don't give alcoholics a little bit of alcohol because they binge. Well, I'm a binge eater. I can't have a little bit of sugar or carbohydrates. I go crazy and I binge on the food. Now, with that being said, if someone's great at moderation, this may not exactly be for you, but for binge eating, I have found it has completely changed my view of food. The second reason is I have autoimmune issues. I have a lot of allergies. I just discovered regular, like from the grocery store cinnamon, I have a skin reaction to. This is an elimination diet, remove as much as I can from my diet so I can really figure out what's bothering me, get my weight down, get my body's inflammation down, and then maybe at some point down the road when everything's calmed down, I can try to put things back in my diet. But I'm also at the point that because I have so many autoimmune issues, I may never be able to go back. But that's a problem for down the road. So this means I have no vegetables. I have no fruit. The reason is vegetables have oxalates in them, which are inflammatory. Having an autoimmune issue, plus being morbidly obese, plus then eating things I'm allergic to, they kind of compound and make everything worse for me. So that's why I do no vegetables. And before anybody asks, I do not have a problem going to the bathroom without any fiber. The key I found was drinking enough water, eating enough fat, no problems. And I eat no fruit because I was a type 2 diabetic. I could easily sit and eat an entire watermelon. I know that sounds crazy, but I absolutely could. I needed to abstain from all the sugars. This is actually what helped me improve my insulin sensitivity. And at this point in time, I can tell you, I have reversed my type 2 diabetes. So what's changed? Let's talk about my activity first. When I started this, actually for a few years, it had been to the point where I wasn't leaving the house for months at a time. I had such severe anxiety. I was severely depressed where I didn't hardly move at all. We live in a 3-story house, and there are some days I wouldn't even walk my butt down to the middle floor. I'd stay on one floor the entire day. I wasn't walking my dogs. I was hardly moving. I had to use a walker because my back pain was so severe that I could only walk a few hundred feet before I had to sit down. I remember vividly standing at the kitchen sink my second week into Carnivore, leaning on the sink, sweating profusely like I had just run a 5K, doing the dishes. I look back at that and I'm just like, wow, what shape I was in. And I mean like poor shape, obviously. For those new to my channel, let's kind of take a peek back at where I started and how things have progressed until now. Yesterday, I was able to go into the mall, out of the mall, into Lowe's, out of Lowe's, walk around, do some shopping, and I did not have to use my walker. That feels so liberating. Now that we've seen the huge changes in activity, what about my health? Well, I can tell you, as of today, I have lost 79.75 inches off my entire body. That's more inches than I am tall that I've lost from my width of my body, which is crazy to me. And here is a visual, for those who are more visual about it, of where I started and where I currently am right now. I went from 16 comorbidities to now 5. I am no longer a type 2 diabetic. I no longer suffer from GERD. I no longer have sleep apnea. It got so bad that what would happen is if I laid flat, I would aspirate, so I'd literally choke on my own vomit, sit up, and then my air passageway would close, so I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking I was literally suffocating to death because that's how it felt. I don't experience that at all anymore. As far as my blood work goes, let's take a look at that real quick. My ALT liver enzyme was at 55, so high. It is now 29, which is considered normal. My triglycerides started off at a whopping 343. As of the middle of January, they are down to 106. And last, my glucose. I check it intermittently now, but as of the end of last year, my average glucose is 73. I am no longer a diabetic, so whoop whoop. If you want to see more specifics for lab tests, just go to carnivorousme.com and I have it all listed there. Last but not least, I have now lost 101 pounds in 253 days, which is less than 9 months.